Hey, Alan, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. Glad to be here.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Well, you're obviously somebody I have a lot of respect for, and I've gotten to know you over the last few years, and I've learned more about you through research and just to find out about your career trajectory in preparing for this conversation. And what I saw is obviously you've carved your career on digital transformation and leading those efforts within organizations. And so I just want to dig into how you do that. What are the challenges with it? And learn a little bit about how that impacts people. So my first question to you would be, what are the biggest challenges you face when leading digital transformation? And then how do you ensure that employees feel supported through it and don't feel overwhelmed with that much change?
Yeah, that's a good question and something that is always an evolution, and you learn as you go, depending on the major change that you're trying to implement. And I think right now many organizations have what's being called change fatigue, as well as let's call it app fatigue. Right there's so much change and so many new tools out there, and people are so busy doing their jobs that when you start introducing new tools and new processes that should make things easier for them, the initial reaction is usually just that it stresses them out or there's a resistance, right? And I think
Yeah.
what what I've tried to do with regards to change and getting better adoption is try to make sure that people feel empowered and build tools around and techniques around change that help adoption, right? We've done things with change agents within the business, right? Bring people in to be the change champions and that really embrace the tools and then become our let's call them salespeople and empowerment coaches to help their peers, and really focusing them and the change on it's really an investment in them that we're making, and trying to help them see that that investment of their time will bring success and lead to better things for not just the company but also for themselves.
Okay. Yeah, makes a lot of sense. So let me ask, have you ever had someone that was really skeptical or any groups that were really skeptical about the change that you had to win over and get buy-in from? And then how did you go about that?
You have that every time you implement a change. There's somebody in, especially in an organization of our size, there's always going to be people that struggle with adoption. And I think you first have to start out with a sense of empathy. I'm very much I like to be more of a people person, and I think it's personal when you're making a change. It's personal, and everybody handles it in a different way. And what I've found is you want to do it as much as you can on the terms that work for them and give them time to evolve and give them time to really appreciate the change and get to that end state of adoption. Hopefully that works. That doesn't always work. Sometimes the change resistance has to be pushed through saying this is the tool that you're going to use. Sometimes you've got to turn off the old tool to use the new. Um, and that let's say forces the behavior. But for me, it's always been, discussing, understanding of the change, you know, worry and why somebody might not be adopting. And usually there's a good reason behind it. And if you understand that good reason, we as technologists are there to solve those types of problems and bring solutions. And that's what I really enjoy doing.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, of course, everybody has to get on board because once the decision's been made and we're going that direction, the train's not stopping, right? So eventually they do, but I like that you at least to have an approach to trying to get everybody on board so it's a positive change for everybody and focused on what are the benefits, right, for everybody. And having
Mhm.
those champions can help with that too. So it's not just coming from the top, but you've got some other people who are behind it.
Definitely,
All right.
definitely. And then I pride myself in making sure that we involve all levels of an organization when implementing a change. It's not just about what the leadership decides, it's also what the person at the desk that's sitting next to our talent or working with our clients, what they really need and what's really going to help them be successful.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So a big topic right now, and I have to ask it. I know it's a hot topic, is AI, right? And there's so many different perspectives out there. I mean, I've listened to so many different takes and podcasts and interviews with different perspectives, and some are the sky is falling, and the other ones are like relax, everything's going to be okay, right? So I just wanted to get your thoughts on this as somebody who's, very experienced in this area. I'm curious, like, what you think about one, what are the most significant impacts that you expect to see from AI and the expansion of use of it from a business standpoint, thinking professionally? And what is the impact going to be on the experiences of the world of work as well?
Okay, so the AI to me is something that is definitely replacing, I'll say, tasks and reshaping some of the tasks that we do every day. I don't really believe that it's replacing every job that's out there. That's not something that is happening at large scale, but we are seeing definite task replacement, let's say, and
Okay.
reshaping kind of where we spend our time. And I think what one of Ronstadt's old strategies was what we called tech and touch. And how were we building technology that was giving us the ability to spend more time touching our clients and talent and really getting in front of the right decision makers and making the right solutions. And I think the world of AI has dramatically changed how we put that power and ability in front of everybody in an organization. Right now, it's at everyone's fingertips. It's expected that I'll say when you're writing job descriptions or doing an interview or talking to clients, you're focusing on making sure that they're using the tools that are out there to be better. And it's expected that you're using AI to simplify those everyday kind of mundane tasks so that you're spending the time making the bigger decisions that drive success. What I would say to people that are really concerned about AI and kind of where it's going, and this is a now kind of started to become an overused quote. It's not AI that's going to replace your job. It's the person that uses AI best that will. And I think it's important that we empower everybody to use it, teach them, and really make it part of every day and every action that we do.
Okay.
And the people that are going to be most successful with AI are those curious, inquisitive, kind of think different type of people because it does require you to use at least the GPT type of tools within AI. It does require you to think as to how do you use this tool to make yourself better.
Okay. So the approach to work might be a little different and might take a little shift. But you're not expecting that AI is going to start doing everybody's jobs and everybody's going to be without work,
I
basically.
really don't believe that that's happening at the scale that you hear in the press today. I think what is happening is when you have, you know, large volumes of people doing the same thing repetitively every day, and there's 5 to 10 tasks that could be automated through AI, that could be improved, that gives frees that part of that population off to do other things. I think that's where you're seeing, let's say, a work size reduction versus a job replacement.
Okay. And to me, like from what you're saying, it could make your job more rewarding by getting rid of some of the more
Repetitive
redundant
stuff.
tasks and things that we
Yeah.
get we get weighed down with. And there's all these projects that we wish we could get to that we can't get to, and now maybe we have more time to do those things.
That's a great point to, who's going to win with AI is not the ones that use it to replace the repetitive tasks to be, ideally more strategic, but the ones that use it to get more productivity out of their people and really be, grow faster than the others versus reduce cost and then just stay where they are.
Okay. Very good point. Very good point. I like the practical level-headed approach. It's a relief to hear that angle versus some of the other stuff I've been hearing, and I understand why people will be nervous about it. But I do wish we could be a little bit more solutions oriented and looking at, okay, things might change, but what can people do to make sure that they're pivoting with it, learning to coexist with it, leverage the technology as much as possible. It requires people to adapt, but if we could panic a little bit less and just focus on how we could support people and what might be different and prepare people for it, I just think that would be a better approach.
It's a much better approach. And I tell a lot of people this, that when they start talking about jobs that are being replaced, it's also jobs that are being created. And especially now with what's happening in terms of the scale and the growth of AI in IT, there's huge scale happening because you got to support all this volume of, technology that's being driven out. But also there's new types of jobs, right? There's a prompt engineer is not something that existed 3 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, right? Like, so there's a lot of these new jobs in the AI space that have gotten created. I even heard the other day about chief AI officers being a new role that's existing out there with some companies to drive not only AI compliance and understanding, but AI differentiation at the exec level, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.